welcome to One Man's Collection. Today I'm looking at the Formula One car collection, issue number 49, Williams FW16. This is the Damon Hill car from 94. It's also the one with number 0. Don't think you can do that anymore, but we'll see what it says about that in the magazine. Got a 143 scale car to have a look at in more detail towards the end. We'll go briefly through the issue and see what was in this particular magazine. So the season is 1994. Technical focus on the Williams FW16, team being Williams, and the circuit Casablanca in this particular issue. Casablanca, Ain Diab, Morocco. All right. I don't actually remember that. Oh yeah, back in 1958. There we go, that's why. The story of F1, 1998, first title for Hakkinen. Very good. I'm not going to read everything in full detail. You will have to pause if you want to read any of the articles. I'm just going to go through here. 1994 watershed moment. After the 1994 season, nothing would ever be the same again. The deaths of Ayrton Senna and Roland Ratzenberger, as well as a serious problem relating to driver safety, led to a series of stringent changes in the regulations. Yep. Damon Hill behind the wheel of the Williams FW16 during the French Grand Prix, ahead of teammate and fellow Brit Nigel Mansell. Nigel Mansell, one of the best drivers ever, in my opinion. So on the grid then, Damon Hill in the Williams, Nigel Mansell in the Williams as well, then Michael Schumacher in the Benetton Ford, Jean Alesi in the Ferrari, Gerhard Berger in the Ferrari, Eddie Irvine in the Jordan Hart, Rubens Barrichello in the Jordan Hart, Jos Verstappen in the Benetton Ford, Mika Hakkinen in the McLaren, Peugeot. That's right, Peugeot used to run. Frentzen, is it Series? Andre de Series? I don't know, remember that name. Martin Brundle, well, we hear him all the time on the Formula 1. Panis, Olivia Panis. Didn't he go on to make the Panos car? Or Panis car? I'm not sure. I don't know if it's the same person. Mark Blundell, Fittipaldi, Herbert, Alboreto. A few other names I recognise there. Even David Brabham, son of Jack Brabham, wasn't it? Yeah, went into Le Mans cars. Very successful. Pole position for Hill in France. The French Grand Prix was barely underway when Michael Schumacher of the Benetton tore past the two Williams drivers, Damon Hill, who didn't make the most of his pole position start, and Nigel Mansell. The German went on to win his 80th running of the French race. This 80th running, sorry, not his. This is the Magny-Cours circuit, finishing ahead of Hill and Gerhard Berger in the Ferrari. Nice. Heinz Harald Frentzen in the Sauber Mercedes during the Brazilian Grand Prix, mostly black by the looks of it. Yep, with Brocker advertising, cigarette advertising on these guys. Rothmans, that had cigarette advertising. See in our car we don't have it, but you can buy cigarette advertising decals that you can put on cars to make them look more authentic, but you can't sell them with that on there due to cigarette advertising on what is classified as a toy. All right, Damon Hill from 0 to hero. By personal choice, Jody Scheckter sported a 0 on his car number when racing in 1973. 20 years later, Damon Hill had to run the unusual number by dint of the fact that Nigel Mansell left the Williams team at the end of 92, whereby the world champions number 1 would be redundant for 93. Incoming ace, the team leader, Alain Prost, preferred number 2. The same thing happened for 1994. Prost retired after winning the 93 title, with Ayrton Senna replacing him alongside Hill and taking the number 2 Williams. So that's why he's running 0. Wasn't it the teams that would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on where they finished the year before? I think that's actually why they would be like that. So 0 and 2. Yeah, Don't think they, well, no, I know they don't do that now. You have the number through your career, and only the championship leader can have card 1. All right, the rear wing anchored to the top of the gearbox by means of a V-shaped wing positioned just above the rear diffuser. Yes, it is. That might have been a new thing. All right, this particular one had a rear longitudinal Renault Type RS6 V10 67 degree 3.493, so just under 3.4 litre. 790 brake horsepower at 14,300 RPM. Nice. They did very well, actually. Obviously. Williams Grand Prix, difficult transition. With the BMW partnership now over, Williams were forced to fall back on their Cosworth customer engines for a year. Then, for 2007, a new and ambitious technical partnership began with Toyota. Okay. Must admit, Williams has had a rough patch over the last 5 to 10 years. Not, well, they were starting to do quite well there for a bit and then drop back again. I think they're on the way back up now. So did McLaren. They obviously went right down to not a lot. Keke Rosberg with son Nico during a break in practice at French Grand Prix 2006. Rosberg Jr., there's the way to call him. Rosberg Jr., who holds a German passport, was a top flight rookie that year, although he'd already built up a solid reputation after years of apprenticeship in karting and the junior formulas. Keke, born in Sweden, but a Finnish national, totted up a career total of 114 Grand Prix races between 78 and 86, representing Theodore, ATS, Wolf, Fittipaldi, Williams, and McLaren. After Graham and Damon Hill, the Rosbergs were the second father-son pair to win a world title. Well, there you go. All right, Casablanca. So Morocco joins the World Championship. The only time Morocco hosted a World Championship Grand Prix was 1958. There you go. That's why I had no idea about it. Cool. In Casablanca, on the road circuit, on the street of the Ain Diab district, running alongside Atlantic coast for some of the way. In fact, top flight cars made their first appearance on the track the previous year, but the race won by Jean Beira in a Maserati was a non-championship event. Yeah, right. 7.6 miles around. No, meters. 7.6 kilometers. Okay, average speed of 195. Maximum speed around 300. Average lap speed 2 minutes 22. Was this the one that they did the standing start? You could run over and jump in your car and take off? Woohoo. Guess that's what they mean, a standing start. Actually standing. All right. First title for Häkkinen. This is the story so far of 1998. Two-way fight. Ferrari's Michael Schumacher and McLaren's Mika Häkkinen engaged in a fierce scrap for honours. The Finn took 8 victories and the German 6 and secured his maiden driver's title after a showdown with the Japanese Grand Prix. So what do you get? 100 points to Michael Schumacher's 86. David Coulthard on 56. Eddie Irvine on 47. And Jacques Villeneuve on 21. For the Williams Mechachrome. Cool name. All right. I don't remember it being called that, but I'm sure it was. Rankings were McLaren and Mercedes at 156, Ferrari at 133, and Williams at 38. Outgoing champion, just 2 podium places. Third in Germany and Hungary for Jacques Villeneuve in 1998. The previous year, world champion left Williams at the end of the year for the race, the team that he partially owned, BAR, British American Racing, which he founded with his friend and manager Craig Pollock. How about that? All right, issue number 50, we've got the Jenson Button Honda RA106, 2006 model car. And then in 51, we've got the Lotus 49B Graham Hill from 1968. Nice cars. I have taken them off their stands. I may end up putting them back on eventually, just so it does have the label without having to lift up underneath. But it takes up so much more room. But in the future, I do actually plan on making a new display. I might have to put that on my channel too, just so I can see what I've done. Alright, no advertising on the side other than Renault and Elf. Actually, yeah, some Goodyear on the front. There we go, get that onto focus. Do have an antenna sticking up there, got to make sure we don't knock that. Not much of a window, just a little deflector. Seatbelts like usual. Oh, we do have some other advertising in there. Oh yeah, we did have that side too. And the Goodyear Eagle tyres on these. A bit harder to see in the black. And there's that diffuser. Can we get that on? Yeah. Not a lot to this model, to be honest. Not a lot to it. So, Williams Renault, FW16, 143. I'm going to put that on turntable so you can see it without my hands getting in the way. Thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll be back with issue number 50 next week. Cheers. Bye.